Hey everybody, we're going to give it a minute or two and give some folks some time to get on. While we're waiting, I want to thank everyone who has signed on. It's going to be our first official Sunday with the Sheriff. We're going to be doing it every other Sunday from now throughout the election. Once we win the election and Sheriff, we'll be doing this where we're inviting the public, inviting the local media in, and continue the Sunday with the Sheriffs to be completely transparent. Our next one will be Sunday after next, which is March 20th, and they'll always be at 7 p.m. So every other Sunday, starting again on March the 20th at 7 p.m. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time tonight. I realize it's Sunday evening and everyone's spending time with their families before they have to go back to work tomorrow. But I do want to take a few minutes, and I think we've got like 3 questions right now. If you've got a question, feel free to put it in there. We can answer it now. After this is over, feel free to put questions on here, and I'll answer it next time around. Once we do those questions, I want to talk about something that occurred in Wake County on Friday that's kind of goes hand in hand with one of the plans that I have for the Sheriff's Office, so I want to talk about that. Also going to talk about early voting and everything. I see a lot of people are signing on, so I'll just kind of chit-chat for a minute while everybody gets in. I don't want anybody to miss the good stuff. Again, we're going to do this again week after next, 2 weeks from today on March 20th, and we'll do it every other Sunday moving forward through the election. One thing I do want to go over while we're kind of waiting, I've had a lot of people who've offered to volunteer and help, and I really haven't called on volunteers yet, and I've been telling everyone to sort of, stand by. I didn't want to wear everybody out before we got into the sprint part of it, which we're getting into right now. So we're going to start calling on some of the people who have offered and volunteered to help. And if you've got some time and you want to help, please let us know. You can either go on the website and sign up on the website, or you can do it here. We're expecting to have our yard signs in next week. We started out with 1,000, then we're going to order another 1,000 in 2 to 3 weeks' time. And I want to get all 2,000 of them out. So that's one way that we really could use some help, is getting these yard signs out. I've got a lot of businesses who want to put them inside their business. People on private property can go ahead and be putting them up outside. You have to wait till 30 days before the first day of early voting before they can go out like beside the roadways and things like that. With that being said, if you're interested in helping, and people who have already let me know, I will be reaching out this week. And one of the biggest ways to help is help us get the word out. Help us spread the word. We've got 9 people in it right now, last count that I did, but I truly feel like our campaign, we're doing it for the right reason. We're doing it for those deputies and detention officers at that agency, and we're doing it for the people of Wake County. This has nothing to do really with me, not about titles or anything else. This is about the people of this county. With that being said, with the yard signs, I mentioned early voting. Early voting is going to be, for the primary, starts April 28th, so it'll be April the 28th through May the 14th. If you are a registered Democrat or unaffiliated, I need your help in the primary. If you know anyone that's registered that way, we could use their help. And we really need everyone to turn out for the primary. Traditionally, not a lot of people show up for the primaries, but it's crucial this time. Like I said, with 9 people running, we've got to get it down to the 2 that move on. So early voting starts April 28th through May the 14th, and the actual primary election is on May the 17th. So with that being said, looks like a lot of people have signed on, so we're going to kind of go ahead and move forward. Just to recap, if you want to volunteer and help, we surely need your help. If you can either go to the website and sign up as a volunteer there, or you can put it here on these Facebook posts, and we will definitely be getting in touch with you. We're expecting the campaign yard signs to come in next week. We've got 1,000 coming in, and 2 weeks after that, we'll have another 1,000 coming in. We're going to need help getting those out. And after this, tonight, we'll be back on March the 20th. So I'm going to go ahead and get into, like I said, we've got 3 questions that's been presented. Then something happened in Wake County Friday I want to talk about that coincides and goes hand in hand with one of the plans that I have for the Sheriff's Office. The first question that we had will you require deputies to wear body cameras? So I've thought about this long and hard. I've done a lot of research. I've talked to a lot of agencies who do and don't, and why they do or don't. I've come to the conclusion I am going to use the deputies to wear body cameras. As well as that, I want the detention officers to wear them. These days, we get snippets of cell phone videos and such. With the body cams, we'll have everything that occurred. Not only that, sometimes there may be like an officer complaint, something like that. And with that, with the body camera, we can determine what truly happened and if there was a complaint warranted, or if it in fact even happened. So the answer to the question is yes, I do intend for the deputies and detention officers to wear body cameras. And I understand there's some legal aspects about the privacy and the jail part that we'll have to get with the attorneys with and everything, but I still intend for both to wear body cameras. This next question, this is actually an ACLU question. And the question was posed, will you commit to establishing and cooperating with a community oversight board to review incidents and advise the sheriff on law enforcement actions? So my answer to that one, as far as the oversight board, but the community, RPD has recently implemented such a thing, and I'm kind of waiting to see how that works out with Raleigh. On the flip side of that, one thing we had talked about, if you followed much at all, you know where one of the things we want to do is bring the Explorers program in for the youth. Past that, there will be a Citizens Police Academy we want to set up. There's never been one at the Sheriff's Office, so we want to do it. It's a good way for the community to get involved, see the kind of training that we have, what we actually do out there. Once they graduate from the Citizens Police Academy, they qualify to be volunteer deputies. Well, the way that works with this question, one thing we're talking about doing is once someone has been through the Citizens Police Academy, they see all that we do, they see how we're trained, then they become a volunteer deputy. We'd like to reach out to some of them to be on our hiring boards. So the way the process works, if you're getting in law enforcement, typically you fill out an application. If they accept your application, you come in and you'll do an initial interview, and then they'll do what we call panel interviews. Well, those panel interviews are typically made up of like a sergeant, a couple lieutenants, some admin folks and stuff like that. Well, at least one of those panels, I'd like to have someone who had been through the Citizens Police Academy, who is a volunteer deputy, be a part of that panel. They're going to bring a perspective from outside that maybe we didn't think about. But at the same time, as they bring that perspective in, they've been through that academy. They see what we're training, why we're training it, and how we're training. So, and I just think we get some good insight. And in my opinion, if we if they can help us with the hiring process, hopefully we won't have an issue on the back end where we have to worry about disciplinary actions. So that's my plan for that. As far as the actual oversight board, like Raleigh's doing right now, I kind of want to wait. That's right here at home. That's right here in Wake County. So we're going to keep an eye on that and see how that's working for them. The next question I think is my favorite one, and it came in about an hour and a half ago. The question is, and you've noticed I don't say people's names for privacy or whatever, but the question is there anybody not running for Wake County Sheriff? There are a lot of people running. It seems like there is a whole slew of them. I think the count that I had is 9 that are currently running. All I can say is, number one, the filing ended Friday at noon, so there'll be no one else. The ones that are in it are in it. There won't be anyone else in this term running for Wake County Sheriff. You've got some good people running this time. I still say the thing that we've got going is we're doing it for the right reasons. I've got the background from small business and everything for budgets. I know how to work with people for a common goal. The biggest thing is we're just doing it for the right reason. We're doing it for the people of this county and for that agency. And Wake County Sheriff's Office is home to me. Every one of those deputies and detention officers are family to me, and I'm looking forward to going back home. But answer to your question, there are a few that are not running, but we do have several that are running, and we're going to move on from there. So if anyone has a question, go ahead and feel free. Shane's over here watching, so if someone comes through with a live question, I can answer it. And like I said, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know it's Sunday evening, and this is family time before you have to go to work tomorrow. But something occurred here in Wake County Friday that I wanted to talk about. So everywhere I've been going and everyone I'm talking to, I tell them Wake County's not what it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. It's barely what it was 5 years ago. But one thing I do want to bring to the Wake County Sheriff's Office, I want it to be a modern, professional agency. The biggest way to me for it to be a modern agency is people. The agency's made up of people. But there is some equipment involved in making it a modern agency. I think it's time, and I've talked to several people, including some commissioners and such, and I think it's time for Wake County to have a helicopter. Charlotte Mecklenburg, to my knowledge, has 3, is what I was told. Wayne County has 1. A couple of people, when I brought up, most everybody's in agreement with me that it's time. A couple of people have said, well, North Carolina Highway Patrol has helicopters, and they do, and they're very, very helpful with them. But I've seen some times when I was a deputy that we called and asked, and they told us that they would be on the way, but they had an extended time before they can get here. What happened Friday is a classic example of why I want one. One of the main reasons I want the helicopter, what occurred Friday, a Jeep was stolen in the Garner area. I don't know all the specifics, whether it was carjacking or how that went, but I know the Jeep hit several vehicles. They were running, and several agencies were trying to catch the Jeep, the subject with the Jeep. I was listening to it on the radio. I was on the other side of town. We were downtown, and they patched us through because they kept coming towards the downtown area, and we were preparing there. But they made it as far out, going out 264, I-87 to Wendell Falls, turned and came back. They came back up Pool Road towards downtown. They kept getting on 440. And helicopter, Highway Patrol Aviation, had them in sight most of the chase. So what typically in the past, where you would have chased someone into downtown Raleigh, through downtown Raleigh, the helicopter kept eyes on them. Well, at one time, you could chase like that, but the population's too dense now. But at the same time, I don't think the answer, which some agencies, most agencies have modified their chase policies, but some of them simply aren't chasing, and I don't think that's the answer. Just letting someone go. If someone breaks in your house or commits a act of violence, I don't think we should just let them go. But a helicopter keeps you from having to chase, and what they did Friday was the helicopter kept them in sight, and they were able to get troopers ahead of them and some Raleigh units, and basically they waited for him to come. It was on Buffalo towards Capitol Boulevard area. When he came up, they did what we call a rolling roadblock. They basically surrounded that vehicle with their vehicles and forced him to slow down and stop. No one was hurt. There was no wrecks. And I just think that's, in modern law enforcement, that's the way we need to be doing. I mean, you're talking 1.2 million citizens in this county, but at the same time, you're talking about 850 square miles. Well, some other uses for that helicopter wouldn't simply be for that. We could do mutual aid agreements with medical aviation, and I've talked to them. If they're busy and they're out of the area, and you have a large wreck or something, we can transport for them. At the same time, if you have an active shooter situation at a school or anywhere like that, we could get a SWAT team there, or at least the lead of the SWAT team there in a matter of minutes. We have Project Lifesaver at the Sheriff's Office. To my understanding, I'm assuming they're still doing Project Lifesaver, and I was a part of that. So if you had someone who had a history of wandering off, like dementia, Alzheimer's, my father had dementia before he passed, and that was a concern of mine, him wandering off. You're talking about people with mental illness and such. With the helicopter covering 857 square miles, it would really help us that. And then at the same time, you have 12 different municipalities here, Garner, Knightdale, Apex, Holly Springs, Wendell, on and on, that could really benefit from the Sheriff's Office having a helicopter. I just think it's time. I know at one point they were talking about doing it several years ago, and for whatever reason the decision was made not to, and I think it was mostly that they were relying more on Highway Patrol, but it's time. Like I said, Wayne County has one. There's a county or two down at the coast, from what I understand, that have them, and Charlotte Mecklenburg has 3 helicopters, and we are larger in size and population. So I just think it's the right thing to do, and I think it's time. And I've already gone as far as we've worked out the details of how we could get pilots, mutual aid agreements with Highway Patrol and other agencies to help with maintenance and everything. And really, if you consider how much one wreck costs money wise, and then over and over, you'll recoup some of the cost of the helicopter. And one life that you save or one child that you find is more than worth what a helicopter will cost. But it's just time. We're a modern agency. We need to be more be more of a modern agency, and it's time to move on in that direction. If you didn't catch the first part, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them here. After we'll post this to the site when this is over with, and you can add more questions there, and I'll answer them next time. Our next one is going to be March the 20th at 7 p.m. We'll be doing these every other Sunday. Again, early voting for the primary starts April the 28th through May the 14th. April 28th to May the 14th. The actual primary is May the 17th. I need your support. I would truly appreciate your support. If you're a registered Democrat or unaffiliated or know someone that is, please turn out for the primary. Volunteers, we're going to be reaching out. I had a lot of people say they wanted to volunteer and help us, so I will be reaching out to you here soon. Anyone else who wants to volunteer, please go to the website, or you can post here, or you can send me a message on Facebook. But that's about all I've got tonight. I don't want to give it all to you at one time, so we'll keep giving every other week. We'll be putting out more and more, and trying to keep you abreast of what's going on in the county and where we stand. I do have several events coming up. So on March the 19th, I will be at the Hindu Society of North Carolina on Aviation Parkway for a holy event that they have there. I have a fundraiser coming up on the 20th of April and one on April the 7th. Oh, that reminds me. So we had to put off a lot of our events in January and February because of COVID and all the COVID restrictions. So we're starting to try to fill those back in and bring those back up. If you would like for me to speak at any engagement that you have, if you would like to invite some people over for me to speak to at your home or your clubhouse or a club or any type of organization, I would be more than happy to. We're staying busy. If you keep up with us much on Facebook, I'm all over the county. We've got a few things coming up on the north side of the county and a couple more on the east side here. We've been in the west side right much lately, and we've got something coming up in Garner pretty soon on the south side. So keep up with us. We're all over the place, and we're trying to reach as many people as we can, let them know what we're trying to do and how we're trying to make the sheriff's office something we can all be proud of. With that being said, do we have any questions that came through? All right. So if anyone has any questions you want me to answer next time, please put them on here. I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday with your family. Everyone be safe and take care, and I'll see you out there on the road. Thank you.